Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a very specialist and unique hypnosis session, and it was created for a client that was aiming to break a record in a very competitive environment that related to freediving. Freediving is a competition where you hold your breath and then swim as far as you can with a single breath. Now, you can take multiple breaths before you start swimming, but you can't take any breaths while you're swimming. So it's really pushing the human body to the absolute limits. And I was working with this particular client who was going through a period of not getting the results that they wanted. And they knew they were capable of so much more. So we actually built a session that utilized resource states, direct suggestion, but also mnemonics. Mnemonics linked to resource states. In hypnosis, we would call it post-hypnotic suggestions, suggestions linked to particular triggers. So although it's highly unlikely that you're listening to this session wanting to break a record for a freediving championship, where this can be useful is the idea of going beyond your limits. And humans are capable of way more than we ever think we are capable of. And that's what I want you to get a sense from this session, that freedivers, the average person takes multiple breaths in a single minute. A freediver is taking a single breath and going hundreds of meters under the water while swimming. It's an incredible feat. So that's really the essence of this particular session that I want you to get, is that it's possible to unlock more resources from within, and the power of a belief system, that a belief system can create a very powerful self-fulfilling prophecy that can lead to incredible achievements. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a calm, controlled feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of stress or tension to leave your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, allow that rhythm to slow down. Breathe in deeper than you normally would, but breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that as you breathe in, you're breathing in a bright, vibrant color that represents resourcefulness. And those resources could be whatever resources you need most right now. You could imagine breathing in a feeling of relaxation, resilience, calmness or courage. to accept that you're also breathing in a feeling of safety. And as you exhale, just imagine that something cloudy or dark is leaving your body in your outward breath, representing anything that is not necessary for you. And that could be stress, or tension, or doubts, or fears. I want you to imagine that as you breathe in and breathe out, picture the resourcefulness being as bright as it possibly can. And as you exhale, visualize those things that could be getting in the way, leaving your body in that outward breath. I want you to imagine that just by breathing in and breathing out, it almost acts as an emotional transfusion. Maybe you've had a blood transfusion before, or maybe you just get the concept of how it works. That if someone has infected blood, clean, healthy blood is pumped in, and infected blood leaves the body. And I want you to imagine that this emotional transfusion is taking place right now. That you are breathing in that wonderful feeling of resourcefulness and relaxation. And as you exhale, any doubts, any worries, any fears, concerns, just feel it and see it leaving your body in that outward breath. So just by breathing in and breathing out, you're becoming more and more relaxed, but also more and more resourceful. As your physical body relaxes, your imagination becomes activated, awakened. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine observing you in the past, where you have been at your very best. I want you to notice how you prepared, but also notice how you were breathing, your facial expression, your body posture. And I want you to play detective and observe how you were back then and mimic. If you were breathing slowly, then slow down your breathing. If you look like your facial expressions were relaxed, relax your facial expressions. And maybe this is just moments before you were about to do something impressive, but I want you to emulate the physiology you had back then. And then witness what you were able to do back then, but I want you to visualize that you were protected. And anything that represents protection could be helpful. Maybe it's noticing people that were looking out for your safety and your interests. Maybe it's the idea of guardian angels. Or maybe a light coming from above. But I want you to observe yourself that at the point where you seemed safe and protected, you were able to go beyond your own expectations. I want you to rewind that memory and feel like you're drifting into your body to re-experience what it was like to swim the best you've ever swam. Relive that moment, no longer observing, but experiencing. Notice the tonality of your inner dialogue. Notice how safe and certain you felt. Notice what you focused on, but also notice the distortion of time. And maybe you've wondered why time changes depending on your focus. You've had times in your life where an hour felt like a lifetime. But you've had other moments where days or weeks felt like they've disappeared in seconds. And therefore, if your mind can collapse or expand time, doesn't it make sense to feel like you can contract time so that you're able to get more out of everything you have in the time that you have? As you re-experience the best that you've ever felt, connect with that feeling of resourcefulness, that feeling of self-belief, a feeling that you are capable of this and even more. And then I want you to imagine you're going forwards in time to an unspecified point in time, but you just get the sense that it is in your future. And I want you to imagine that you are about to swim underwater for a long period of time. I want you to get a sense that you have the knowledge, the experience, but also the memories and the reference to reassure the protective part of your mind that you have what it takes. I want you to tap into a wonderful feeling that you can't explain why, but you have a feeling that things are going to go well for you. I want you to imagine that you're breathing in the way that you would breathe if you needed to oxygenate your blood, give you enough oxygen at a cellular level to take on this challenge, a challenge that is within your grasp. Breathe exactly in the way that your body needs most, and then imagine putting your mask on, taking that last big breath, and then imagine, just as you start this adventure in the water, you could imagine perhaps that when your feet spring off the side of the pool, they are pressing a large, light blue button that represents cruise control. I want you to get a sense that you've packed in all the air that you need in your lungs, and now it's just about being efficient with that fuel. And that's exactly what cruise control does for you. Just imagine that your onboard computer is all about efficiency, that you are utilizing that oxygen in the most efficient way possible. There are quite clever onboard computers on cars, but your brain, your mind, your unconscious is infinitely more powerful than any computer and any car. And therefore, imagine that you are optimizing it for efficiency. I want you to imagine effortlessly gliding through the water. And then before you know it, because time has collapsed, you're approaching that first 50-meter turn. And the only thing you notice is that it was a good turn. Well done. You turned well and feel like there's almost a spring in the wall to give you a boost, but you're still on cruise control. Optimized for efficiency. Utilizing the oxygen in your blood in the most efficient way possible. And if at any point between 50 meters and 100 meters there are any doubts, any concerns, I want you to activate a certain tonality in your voice that is designed to tease you. What? You can't do this? Any negativity seems to have the opposite reaction. Any doubts create certainty. Any feelings of danger create a feeling of ultimate safety and protection. I want you to make a particular motion with your body that enables you to reset, to recommit, to feel that you're still in that cruise control mode. I want you to get a sense that any other negative thoughts are short and temporary and almost like they sound like a particular person that provokes an intense feeling of resolve, a resolute focus to prove any naysayer wrong. You can't do this. Almost makes you want to bat it away like an insignificant fly. Sometimes the best thing someone can do to motivate us is to tell us that we don't have it in us, that we can't do it. To create that polarity response, that F you. I want you to notice that perhaps you can see a 100-meter turn coming up. Feel that your body is naturally preparing to get in exactly the right position for that turn. And you don't just do it, you execute it perfectly. A great turn. So well done. Your inner dialogue is a cheerleader, brimming with enthusiasm, confidence, and certainty. Imagine positioning your body in that reset and still feel like you're springing off the side of that wall, still on cruise control. And you get the sense that there is a computer inside you optimizing for efficiency. And then I want you to get a sense, almost out of nowhere, that there is almost a magical light, a celestial light, shining from above. It starts from above, almost like you're under a spotlight. A light of safety, protection. I want you to hear a big booming voice tell you, you are safe. And then the position of the light changes. So rather than being from above, it almost moves towards, like it's shining from the next turn. I want you to imagine it almost like a UFO tractor beam. Like a magnet, it's gravitating you, willing you toward. You're still on cruise control, still hyper efficient, but the tractor beam is effortlessly pulling you towards that turn. You feel safe, protected, almost like any safety divers above you are your angels. You are safe. I want you to imagine getting to that next turn. But there's something unique about that next turn. It almost looks like there's a giant glowing green button there on the wall. The tractor beam is willing you towards it. But as you turn, I want you to get a sense that that green is like nitrous oxide, that NOS button, like a rocket ship, boosting you, empowering you, and feel like it is now like you are a rocket ship. That NOS is giving you the extra power from the nitrogen, but also refueling you with the oxygen. And that nitrous oxide, just imagine that it's relaxing all the muscles, no lactic acid, just effortless, smooth, efficient, but intense strokes, propelling you forward. You can feel your legs are kicking, smaller finning, and the inner dialogue is willing you on. Go, 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 go. Every kick feels like you're harnessing power. But just like a rocket ship, I want you to get a sense that when a rocket ship leaves the orbit, all the fuel that it needs to leave starts being discarded, ending up in the ocean. So it's carrying less and less weight the further away it gets from the orbit. And I want you to imagine that you're becoming lighter, more streamlined, more efficient, just like that rocket ship. It's propelling you forwards. And there is a thought inside your head that sounds alluring and positive. Just says national record, national record, national record. You can play around with different tonalities until you find the one that feels like it's aligning with you, that it's desirable but also believable, achievable, within your grasp. I want you to get a sense that you have an idea that there's a marker perhaps halfway between the two sides that represents that national record. And I want you to imagine a feeling of elation as you see a signal, something that represents that you've passed that national record. Then I want you to imagine that there is another button, a final button at that national record point. And that is designed to defrost, to thaw, to melt away any muscles that might be starting to become rigid through any kind of lactic acid. Just imagine that it is thawing them away. And that same magnetic tractor beam is now there. Towards the end, you can see that 200-meter turn. It is not about the pressure to get there. You've got that national record. Anything now is a bonus. Every meter, every kick, every moment forwards, you are breaking new territory. But I want you to get a sense of wondering what could happen on a good day where you're entering that flow state with the right level of stimulation and inner belief. Just entertain the idea of what it would be like to go beyond that national record, to find somewhere deep within you the resources, the oxygen, the inner conviction of what if I just go a bit further, and I want you to get a sense that even just once, you do go to that 200-meter turn. And I want you to imagine that there is jets, that the moment you touch it, the jets are propelling you without you needing to use much force, almost like there's a current pushing you forward. And when the time comes to raise your head out of the water, you're grateful for whatever you've been able to achieve. I want you to get a sense that what you were going for was the national record. Anything else is a bonus. And even if you got close to that national record, I want you to get a feeling of, I can optimize, I can refine, I can tap into new resources that in your inner world, you either win or you learn. Sometimes there's treasure in the near miss, almost getting close but not quite. Your mind will seek out those tiny distinctions. That could be a tonality, an intense visualization of a current, of a tractor beam, of feeling safe, of feeling secure. And I want you to accept the belief that there is an inevitable feeling that not only you will break a national record, but you will go beyond beating a world record. It might happen sooner, it might happen later, but accept the belief that one day it will happen. And tell yourself it will happen. Program your mind to accept that belief as reality. And in doing so, you open up the vaults to resources that are always there, but you might not always access. I want you to get a sense that the belief is the requirement to the resources, and the resources creates subtle, tiny, unnoticeable, unconscious thoughts, feelings, and movements that have the ability to create powerful, self-fulfilling prophecies. I want you to imagine that you have everything you need to go beyond your wildest expectations. And I want you to entertain a thought that you're now looking at a recording of the time that you did that. And maybe it's weeks in the future, months, or even years in the future, but I want you to imagine that maybe it's later on in life, long since retired from this sport, but you're looking back, maybe on a recording on a phone or on a TV screen, of the time you broke that record. And it feels weird to see it, but I want you to imagine seeing it as if it's already happened. See you preparing, see you do it, see you celebrate. Imagine seeing the pictures of you wearing medals or holding a trophy, getting all the acclaim that you deserve from doing something that's never been done before. I want you to get a sense that by thinking about it in a way that it's already happened, you're playing with the concept of time in such a way that you are attracting the very resources to make it happen. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose and feel like you're returning to the present, listening to my voice. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, fully integrating into this moment, but opening up a portal into powerful resources within you that you can deploy when needed. Very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, feeling safe, feeling optimistic, and feeling a sense of inevitability that things are going to go well. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.